how does corruption take form when it's so obvious? It's slow movements. It's like barely inching towards, total corruption and obedience, where you don't really see it coming. Next thing you know, like, oh, I have no other option but to get a chip in my hand, or have a social credit score that allows me to, fly in a plane. If I don't have a good one, then I got to ride on a bus or a train or a cab, or, I can drive. They want all electric cars. And
President Obama said that he would cherish it, and I'm certainly going to frame this and cherish it.
Kim, what does the Bible mean when it says in Revelation 2 and Revelation 3 that in the last days the most wicked and evil force on earth, one that will persecute Christians and bring death and bloodshed to the whole world, is the synagogue of Satan?
We thank thee for thy adoration.
Today, these elite names are still doing ritual sacrifices of children to a deity called Moloch or Molech, the same as they were thousands of years ago.
You were both in Skull and Bones, the secret society.
It's so secret we can't talk about it.
What does that mean for America? The conspiracy theorists are going to go on.
I'm sure they are. I don't know. I haven't seen the web.
Number 322?
First of all, he's not the nominee. And, look, I look forward...
Are you prepared to lose?
No, I'm not going to lose.
You both were members of Skull and Bones, a secret society at Yale. What does that tell us? Not much, because it's a secret.
Ceremony with the cremation of care? Frankly, I don't think that's something I need to talk to you.
So if you remove them, then what's going to happen? You're opening the door for the repossession. You're opening the door. So the house is not going to stay empty. Something else is coming in. If you take this out of school, well, something else.
Drag Queen Story Time. It's happening in Canada and America, where some public schools and libraries invite drag queens, some dressed like horned demons, to read to young children.
Extremely nihilistic, pro-death, pit of hell type garbage. That's
the change that we have to see is sometimes the parents. And the kids are doing actually really okay.
But we're here, we're queer, and we're not going away. We are not some group of people who live in San Francisco or Seattle. We are here. We are your elected officials. We are your brothers. We are your sisters.
Lil Nas X's collaboration with art collective Mischief, the 666 pair of sneakers feature gold pentagrams, inverted crosses, as well as human blood inside the sole.
And the devil, for a long, long time, has had these screens for his playground.
At last night's Grammys, they, as Smith now prefers to be called, identified as Satan.
Katy Perry performs Dark Horse at the Grammys.
Topics discussed in this video may be offensive to some audiences. Nothing was put in this video to target anyone or anything.
It is a great horror that most people don't want to speak about. And yet the Bible here records the sin of Molech worship so that we may apply it to our culture today and understand the grievous sin of abortion.
Are here. We are your elected officials. We are your brothers. We are your sisters.
To be heard, you deserve to be honored. You deserve to be validated, and that is what this is all about.
Proceeds from this event will go to Planned Parenthood and the Ali Forney Center.
Planned Parenthood for all the work that you are doing for women all across the country and for families all across the country and for men who have enough sense to realize you're helping them all across the country.
Is Kavanaugh's powerful legal mind strong enough to withstand the forces of witchcraft? It's a real question now. A coven of self-described witches in New York is planning a rally next week to put a hex on Justice Kavanaugh. You can buy a ticket to attend this hexing ceremony for $10. A quarter of that goes to Planned Parenthood to help them continue to fund their human sacrifice ritual.
The Bible makes numerous condemnations of the ancient Israelites, sacrificing their children to another derivation of Baal called Moloch, who was associated with Saturn.
Skull and Bones members are known to take an oath of secrecy, so their rituals and intricacies are highly guarded, despite the fame of their members. One thing we do know is the physical location of the Skull and Bones clubhouse and headquarters. The nearly windowless building, simply known as The Tomb, is housed in a large brownstone located at 64 High Street in New Haven, Connecticut. Portraits that might feature such esteemed bonesmen, like former presidents George W. Bush, George H.W. Bush, and William Howard Taft, as well as the father of American football and the founder of the NCAA, Walter Camp, the man who helped create the Hubble telescope, Lyman Spitzer, Time magazine's founder Henry Luce, Supreme Court Justice Potter Stewart, former Secretary of State and Senator John Kerry, the so-called richest man in private equity, with a personal net worth currently valued at $15.7 billion, Stephen A. Schwartzman, political journalist and author Dana Milbank, and the youngest member of President Obama's cabinet, economist Austin Goolsbee. However, in return, it is said that the club ensures a policy and a promise of their lifelong financial stability.
Why are you still out here?
Well, it goes back to the destiny thing. I mean, I made a bargain with it, you know, a long time ago, and I'm holding up my end.
What was your bargain?
To get where I am now.
Should I ask who you made the bargain with?
with the chief commander.
On this earth?
And this earth, and then in a world we can't see.
People that have been in denial about the left of like, this is not Satanism, or these are not practices of Satanism. This is not when they say the devil is a liar and the devil works to alter our perceptions of what is lie, what is the truth.
Illuminati's that shadowy cabal that controls the entire world and ensures free will's an illusion. Even though they were so high-minded, they had weird rituals. See these owls? The Illuminati really loved them. And they had invented hierarchies like Novice, Minerval, and Illuminated. They were an evil organization bent on ruling the world, sure, but they were also kind of funny. The Illuminati was vague enough to be refit to any purpose, from the New World Order to religious paranoia to pop culture curio like angels and demons. It became a joke, but you might believe that's what the Illuminati wants you to think.
Powerful symbols of Moloch is the obelisk, also known as the phallus of the gods or the phallus of the bull, since it represents a bull's penis. Obelisks are a symbol that are everywhere, going back from today in modern America all the way back to Egypt and most likely before. When you begin to understand language and how words are put together, you find out that Moloch symbolism is very apparent in language as well.
An Egyptian obelisk that somehow or another they moved from Egypt. I mean, this thing's huge. This huge stone obelisk that's carved and somehow or another they got it and had it stand up. It's planted in the middle of this little...
Have you seen the one in Central Park?
Is there an Egyptian one from Egypt?
It's huge.
From Egypt?
Yeah.
Whoa. No shit.
Yeah.
In the ancient world, and you find that the Phoenicians and the Babylonians and the people of that area at that time, they used to sacrifice children to a deity called Moloch or Molech. In the Old Testament even, you can see references to people being condemned for putting their children through the fire to Molech. When I've talked, and I've done so much research into the Satanism network, not least because to understand that staggeringly is to understand how the world's controlled and who's doing it. And I've talked to victims of this stuff, most of which don't survive, of course, but the few that have, comparatively. And I've talked to therapists around the world, particularly a great friend of mine in London, Vera Diamond. And they tell me that today, these elite names are still doing ritual sacrifices of children to a deity called Moloch or Molech, the same as they were thousands of years.
Lo stile di lui, lo sappiamo, è di presentarsi in maniera subdola, mascherata. Parte da ciò che ci sta maggiormente a cuore e poi ci attrae a sé, a poco. Il male entra di nascosto senza che la persona se ne accorga e con il tempo la suavità diventa durezza.
The Pope urged those present to make a daily examination of conscience to better understand themselves. At the end of the audience, the Black Blues Brothers performed, bringing joy and warmth to a cold morning in Rome.
Seems to be putting up more and more evil statues and symbols as it falls farther away from knowing Christ. We've had the satanic statues in America and South Africa. CERN put up their Hindu statue of Shiva and even did a ceremonial dance to honor this god. Google that one because it's creepy. And even creepier is the CERN satanic tunnel ritual calling on Lucifer. You can also find that online. That will blow your mind. They've been putting up the Arch of Baal in Washington, London, and other places, and now we have the Vatican approving the Canaanite idol of Moloch in Rome. If you're not familiar with Moloch, it required child sacrifice and is now outside the Colosseum in Rome. And this shortly after he blessed the Pachamama statue. Pachamama is the fertility goddess in the Inca religion. But putting this child sacrifice statue of Moloch outside the Colosseum is pretty crazy considering the Romans killed Christians back in the day. Is there any symbolic connection to this? Who knows? All I do know is that we are in stranger times than ever before. Read your Bibles and stay alert because the enemy is using the leaders of this world in a way that's never been seen, and it seems like as the lines are getting more and more blurred, all religions are being welcomed as okay. This is just one more step in furthering the ecumenical movement.
Similar to the original shield that was given to the Rothschild family when Baron Meyer Amschel Rothschild had become knighted in England and received the lordship. If we look across the top of this shield, all the way to the left-hand side, it drops down and forms a crescent moon. It's a crescent moon because it represents the female goddess in the occult world. At the bottom of that shield, of that lunar moon, you will see the owl. And it's very obvious once you take a good look at that part of the crescent moon. And it is the same Illuminati owl that is being worshipped at the Bohemian Grove in California.
Operating from the shadows using secret knowledge, we and our descendants kept watch over all of human history.
Well, not to point out the obvious, but fire, plague, actual fucking locusts? If you're watching over us, why didn't you stop these things?
Stop them? We unleashed them. When humanity was about to overpopulate, we released the Black Plague. And in quarantine, Sir Isaac Newton discovered gravity.
Soji curriculum started in British Columbia in 2016 and is quickly spreading throughout Canada. Simpson disagrees, saying she sees Soji's real goal as
altering our culture from a heteronormative society into one where anything goes, no boundaries, no values, no morals. It's a hedonistic cult, basically what they're implying.
This is fucking dumb and gay. This is dumb and gay.